I'm here with Global Gravitation Group, a recycled clothing brand based right here in Las Vegas. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Honored.
So I'm saying recycled and clothing in the same sentence. How does that work?
You know, it all starts with just being able to look at your life, period, and then being able to transfer that into clothing. You know, so a lot of people think that if you just recycle materials into like pins or other things like that, that's where it stops, but you can also do it in fashion.
Okay, and what recycled materials are we using to change into clothes?
We're using 100% plastic bottles.
Wow.
So it basically goes from the actual piece of plastic, and we go through a bunch of different steps to break it down to actually turn it into a fabric where we design amazing clothing.
Who would have known that you can use recycled plastic water bottles and turn that into clothing? Why did you feel a need to start a brand like this?
Well, it all started with 4 years ago. My daughter was on life support. She had to get open heart surgery at 1 month old. So to make a long story short, when I used to pray, I used to go down to Loma Linda at San Bernardino, California, and I would go with Loma Linda and see her from Vegas every time when I was working as a bellman over at Wyndham. And so she was getting worse and worse as the days progressed, and I was just praying for a miracle. And I was like, God, if you let her live, I promise I'll do something to make everybody's life better, just change the way I looked at life. And so it worked. These guys went with me, and that's how it was born.
All right, that's good to hear that you guys wanted to do something positive and influencing other people to do so too.
Thank you.
And I see you have some clothing here. Tell me about it. What do we have?
Well, what we have here is, these are the custom V-necks. The Just Be You campaign that we have is just being yourself. It's too hard to be someone else, so we try to focus on motivational wearable art for people to take into consideration that if you're trying to be someone other than yourself, it's going to be very difficult, and it's not true, and it's not genuine. So by us taking something as recycled plastic bottles, it shows that you can also take your life and just be yourself and recycle that as well and be something better than you were yesterday.
I really like that.
Thank you.
And what are some reactions when people see this clothing and you tell them that it's made out of recycled plastic?
Oh, man.
Yeah, my favorite part is, like, I call it the wow factor. And that's kind of where, when people actually touch it and they're like, they look at it and think it's a regular shirt. It's like, oh, that seems kind of cool. But then when they actually touch it and they're like, oh, it's so soft. Oh, it's amazing. And like put it on their face and they're like, oh my God, like it's made from plastic. And it's like that reaction is good.
And some crazy questions as well.
I was just going to get to that.
Will it melt? They're just like, oh,
if I light it on fire, is it going to stick to me? It's like all types of stuff. Is it going to be like plasticky feeling? Things like that.
All right, and so it feels like regular clothing, but you're also helping the environment. Where can we find some of your clothes?
You can go on our website at globalgrav.com. You can also go on Facebook at Global Gravitation Group, and Pinterest and Twitter as well.
At Global Grav.
Yes.
And you can also, local festivals. We did Rock in Rio, and we do a lot of local festivals here. We'll also be at Lee's Liquor Experience November 7th.
Okay, so we'll definitely look out for Global Gravitation Group.